Greetings from the Tchika Pass in the high Atlas Mountains in the center of Morocco. Does it get crazier than this? Now, a lot of people think that the Atlas Mountains are just the Atlas Mountains that run somewhere in Morocco. Actually, it's a series of several different chains that run in Morocco and Algeria and all the way over to Tunisia. So we're actually in the high Atlas Mountains, the highest of all the Atlas Mountains. There's also the Middle Atlas north of us, the Anti-Atlas south of us, the Tel Atlas that run across the coastal part of Algeria, and the Saharan Atlas which run across the southern part of Algeria. But this, my friends, is the high Atlas. And this place is awesome, not because it's so high. Actually, the highest elevations here, I believe, what's the highest mountain here?
4,000.
What's the name of it? Mount Chopkal. Mount Chopkal.
Second summit in Africa.
Highest second summit in Africa is here in the high Atlas Mountains, and I believe it's 13,761 feet high. And there are within the high Atlas about 10 different peaks that I believe are over 10,000 feet. But this is very typical of the high Atlas Mountains. In fact, in wintertime, check me if I'm wrong, this would actually be snow covered. So a lot of folks think, oh, it's North Africa, it's tropical, it's Sahara Desert's nearby, it's hot. That's true, but once you get up to these elevations, it can get really, really, really cold. And this is one wicked ass road. I have thought to have died at least 700 times since I've been on this road, crossing from Marrakesh over to the Sahara Desert. And I love it. It makes you feel alive. Now, the other reason that the high Atlas and all of the Atlas chains are important is because they actually kind of form not really a border, but almost a dividing line between Northwest Africa and the rest of the Sahara for several different reasons. One is something called the rain shadow effect. So a lot of moisture actually sweeps in from the Atlantic Ocean over that way, bringing warm, wet air into the continent. But as soon as that warm, moist air hits the Atlas Mountains, it goes up. And when things go up in the world, it gets colder. That's why it snows here, because it's high. And when it gets colder, it condenses and falls as rain. So what happens is that side of the Atlas Mountains is wetter. There's forest over there. There's good cropland. But this side, not so much. It's dry. And if you keep going that way, you eventually run into the Sahara Desert. The Atlas Mountain chain is one of the reasons why the Saharan Desert formed, actually, because no moisture can get over from there over to there. The other reason that the Atlas Mountains are awesome is because it's actually its own little separate culture, which nobody really thinks about in Africa, especially North Africa, especially Saharan Africa, because we typically think of Saharan Africa as part of the Middle East. So Southwest Asia, North Africa, that's the general Middle East region. And so people that have no clue about the awesomeness that is Morocco or the Atlas Mountains just assume that, well, everything around here is kind of desert, and everybody around here is kind of Islamic, so that means everybody around here is kind of Arab. Wrong! Arab people are from the Arabian Peninsula, about 5,000 miles that way. Islam is from the Arabian Peninsula, so when Islam started, and the Arabs, and we're talking the 8th century, the Arabs started the Islam religion, and then an Arab Islamic empire swept across North Africa all the way to here, to the Atlas Mountains, 3,500 to 4,000 miles away. So everyone around here is Islamic, but it was the Arabs that started it, and so Arab culture kind of came with it, and the Arab language, because the Quran, the holy book of Islam, is also only written in Arabic. So everybody reads Arabic, and Arabic language is also spread because of the Islamic conquest of the 7th and 8th centuries. But there's always a but here in the high Atlas Mountains. This is Berber land, okay? They're not Arab, not ethnically. So most of the folks here are what we call ethnically and linguistically Berber. It's their own language, it's their own ethnicity. In fact, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I hope I don't offend my Berber friends, but I think the Berbers will eventually be recognized as the first and original North African peoples. So they started here in the Atlas Mountains, but there's kind of Berber blood and Berber roots and Berber language spread throughout the entire Western Sahara, and maybe as far away as Egypt from here. So these are kind of the proto-humans, the indigenous of North Africa, if you like, are right here. They started right here in these mountains. Now, there's still a lot of Berber people around. The bulk of what you'd call Moroccan people are Berber. The bulk of what you'd call Algerian people are Berber. Maybe even Tunisian. Most people are Berber. But they all speak a lot of Arabic because of the Islamic conquest, because Arabic is the language of Islam. Their language has slowly taken a hit over the last 1,000 years. And so not as many people speak it as they used to 1,000 years ago, but it's making a resurgence, it's coming back. And there may be anywhere from 20 to 30 million people that speak Berber. And ethnically, which it's hard to kind of prove what ethnically, who's in whose group, but probably ethnically there's 50 to 60 million ethnic Berber people. And there's actually an increase in Berber pride that's happening, not just here in the High Atlas, not just in Morocco, but across all of northwestern Africa. A lot more people are starting to say, hey, we're Berber roots. We're not Arab. We may speak Arabic, but we're not. We're Berber. This is the original grouping here. And language is coming back. Algeria made Berber an official language of Algeria. I believe Morocco made it a national language of Morocco just last year. So they have a resurgence. They're bringing it back into the schools. And this, my friends, again, is the heart, the core of Berber civilization, the indigenous group of all of northern Africa, as far as I'm concerned. And you can still visit wonderful Morocco, be on this spine-tingling pass to get over the High Atlas Mountains here, and visit many Berber villages where a lot of Berber folks still maintain a traditional Berber way of life. But that's my report here from the, say it again, Tchika Pass? Tchika Pass, very high up in the High Atlas Mountains. I'm not high in the Atlas Mountains, I'm in the High Atlas Mountains. But for now, we're out.